This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about the next match. This is a main event anywhere in the world. It's Rey Mysterio and CM Punk. After a few months of feuding, Mysterio is going to challenge Punk to a straight edge society pledge versus hair match and over the limit. So the idea is if Punk wins, Mysterio has to join his, I guess you would call it cult, the straight edge society. And if Mysterio wins, Punk has to shave his head. On the May 14th episode, we would see Mysterio and Punk face each other in a singles match, but the straight edge society, who at this point consists of Luke Gallows, Serena, and a masked man, interfere and attack Mysterio. The next week, Mysterio interrupts an initiation ceremony in which Punk was shaving the heads of 3 men to induct them into the straight edge society and mocks Punk, claiming everyone would be laughing at Punk when he was shaved bald at Over the Limit. Later that night, Mysterio would team with MVP to defeat Punk and Gallows, and that brings us to this match. And in this era, if the babyface wins on sort of the go-home edition of TV, it feels like it's not going his way at the pay-per-view, but that's not the case here. Mysterio gets a win over CM Punk in 13 minutes and 49 seconds. Teddy Long has banned the Straight Edge Society from ringside. There's blood early from Punk's right eye, which is probably from Mysterio's knee brace, or at least that's Meltzer's theory. And there's also another cut on the top of Punk's forehead, which he thinks maybe came from a Hurricane Rana into the barricade. So Punk winds up needing 13 staples to close the cut. And, Charles Robinson's trying to do whatever he can with a towel. Punk is visibly pissed at having the match stopped. Mysterio is going to try to keep selling. Eventually, the boring chant gets pretty loud, and Punk just runs from the people tending to his cut and goes wild on Mysterio. They go back and forth, and the match gets going. Eventually, he hits the 619. He misses the springboard splash. Punk's head is all bloody at this point, and Mysterio gets the win with a schoolboy. Meltzer would say, I thought the stoppage in the middle made this not reach the level of some of their other matches. They got 3.25 stars. Accidents happen here. And these are 2, main event, top level guys working in the middle of the card. And for this night, it just felt a little snake bit. What'd you think watching the match back?
Well, I'm sure of it. And I'm sure those guys were livid. But again, you're either on board with taking care of the talent or you're not. It's
right.
All or nothing. It can't be just in some cases. And when a guy's bleeding, match stops. That's the rules. And I know how the talent felt. I know how Punk felt. I know how Ray felt, because you lose your momentum. And, let's face it, your older fans are used to people bleeding, and the match continues, and they don't understand that stopping it to get the blood stopped and all that. They just know that whatever momentum you had is now gone, and you got to start over. And that's tough. And the main thing is what you ended up with in the saving grace. Thank God, since those things happened, it would have really been disastrous if Punk would have went over.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine the reaction from the audience? Rey Mysterio overcoming all the odds is always a good thing. And back then it was really a good thing, because people love Rey. And Rey is tiny, but Rey has got guts, and Rey has got tools, and he's got good psychology. And when he shaved Punk's head, he didn't get all the hair. He just gapped the shit out of it, which is more insulting than anything. So the audience got a nice pop there, and Rey Mysterio won the day, and that's always a good thing.
The post-match, as you mentioned, we see a mystery man attack Mysterio. Gallows and Serena are following. They're going to pull out handcuffs, but then Kane makes the save, and Kane throws Gallows out of the ring, choke slams Punk, and then he beats Gallows to the back. Mysterio uses these handcuffs on CM Punk to handcuff him to the ropes, gives him a 619, and then they start cutting his hair. And to your point, they don't cut it all, but it's pretty great to see Punk try to sell it, and he's trying to cover up with a towel. And the newsletter would say Rey Mysterio will be taking a few weeks off on a vacation. In recent weeks, when there was talk of Mysterio having some financial issues, and we were told last week those issues are gone, the sides have come to an agreement which included Mysterio getting time off after this pay-per-view. He's been saying that his knee is not bothering him, but he's still in need of surgery and has been since last fall. At one point, there was talk of him getting surgery, and they even shot an angle to eliminate him, but he decided to avoid the reconstructive surgery because it would keep him out of Mania, and he felt like he'd missed enough Manias in recent years due to injuries. Originally, he was planning on getting the surgery after, but now he seems to be doing better. And you've known Rey for a long time. I mean, he was tearing things up, man, 15 years prior to this in WCW, but his knee problems, when they started, it felt like they never stopped, but he works a style where you almost can't help but have some knee injuries, right?
Yeah. And you have to work that style because that's what's expected.
Right.
You can't have a guy Rey's size out there manhandling people. It has to be that he's using his entire body to propel into his opponents to be able to pull off the offense that he pulls off. And you got to be able to pop up on that top rope and warp speed. You got to be able to slide in and out of that ring and warp speed and do all the things that Rey Mysterio does to keep that intact, that character. And, the thing about it is, though, you look at the other side, you know what a WrestleMania pays. And if you're in a slot, it pays damn good. I don't think anybody on that card is not happy with what they make, but there's a lot of money to be made at WrestleMania, and nobody wants to miss that, no matter what you have to do, if it's cover up an injury or whatever. And I'm sure if Rey, and he had, I think, missed a Mania or two, he didn't want to miss that one.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money, it's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.